Welcome, dear listener. Tonight, we journey into a story woven from myth, wonder, and timeless echoes. It is the tale of Athena, goddess of wisdom, guardian of truth, and protector of the fragile light of hope. In the days when the world trembled with shadows, a mystery lingered across the skies, shimmering and unseen. Mortals looked upward, searching for guidance, yet found only silence in the endless veil of twilight. But Athena heard a whisper, a call carried by the stars, faint yet filled with infinite promise. This was not the call of battle, nor the clash of steel, but the song of knowledge eternal. She knew the world longed for clarity, for a light that never fades, for wisdom beyond measure. So she set forth, leaving Olympus behind, stepping gently into the realm of mortals and their dreams. Every step was quiet, yet filled with purpose, for she carried within her the flame of understanding. And as she walked, the whispers grew stronger, weaving a path toward the light eternal, waiting ahead. The night was calm, yet the sky held a secret, shimmering with a faint and endless silver glow. Stars blinked like ancient eyes, watching, remembering, whispering stories older than mountains and seas. Athena, seated on the high steps of Olympus, gazed outward, her mind restless with unspoken thoughts. For days she had felt it, a pulse in the heavens, a rhythm beyond the songs of gods or men. It was neither thunder nor flame, but a softer call, almost like a voice, woven into the silence. The gods around her laughed and feasted, but Athena's gaze remained fixed on the distant horizon. She could feel the tremor of destiny, delicate yet undeniable, tugging at the edges of her wisdom. Mortals below sensed it too, though they could not name it, turning their eyes skyward with questions. Some called it a sign, others feared it, but all agreed the light was unlike anything they had known. The flicker would come at dusk, faint and fleeting, then vanish as though swallowed by the night. Yet each time it returned, it grew clearer, brighter, like a beacon yearning to be found. Athena whispered to herself, "This is no illusion. The stars are telling us something." Her words dissolved in the wind, unheard by the revelers, yet the truth burned steady within her heart. She remembered the scrolls of old, tales of a light eternal, a guide through despair and uncertainty. Legends spoke of it as both flame and song, a power never bound by time or distance. Few believed such stories, calling them fables spun by dreamers. But Athena sensed otherwise. She closed her eyes and listened, not with ears, but with the depth of her spirit. There it was again, the soft pull, a harmony too perfect to belong to chance or chance alone. Her hand rested on the marble beside her, steady, yet her thoughts soared beyond the mortal realm. She imagined the light falling like a thread, binding past to present, weaving hope into the future. Was it meant for gods or for mortals who struggled beneath the weight of shadow? Athena wondered, yet she did not seek to claim it, only to understand it. For wisdom was never about possession, but about knowing the path and guiding others to walk it. The stars shifted, aligning in quiet patterns, and the whisper grew louder, carried by the cool air. She rose, her golden armor catching the faint glow, though no battle called her name. This was a different journey, one that would not be written in victories, but in revelations. She stepped away from the laughter of Olympus, her heart drawn toward the mystery beyond the clouds. Every beat of her stride was steady, calm, yet filled with a fire no shadow could extinguish. The world below slept, unaware that a goddess had chosen to walk among them once more. the whisper lingered, guiding her path, and the night seemed brighter with every step she took. The light eternal awaited, hidden still, but its promise already alive within her unwavering spirit. The great hall of Olympus shimmered with light, filled with music, laughter, and voices that touched the clouds. The gods reclined upon thrones of marble and gold, each radiant, each proud, each certain of their own power. Yet Athena entered not with thunder or fanfare, but with calm grace, her eyes steady, her voice measured. She carried no weapon in hand, only the weight of wisdom, sharper than any blade forged by fire. The gods turned to her, curious, for rarely did Athena break the circle of revelry with solemn words. She spoke of the flicker in the heavens, of the whispers she had heard, of the light eternal. Her voice echoed clear, neither trembling nor loud, but strong with the conviction of truth that could not fade. Some gods leaned forward, intrigued by the tale of a glow beyond time, a promise written in stars. Others scoffed, dismissing it as a trick of mortal imagination, a spark unworthy of divine attention. Poseidon rumbled with laughter, his trident tapping the ground, waves of doubt rolling through his booming voice. "What light," he asked, "could shine brighter than the fires we already command across sea and sky?" Ares smirked, uninterested, seeking only battles, unconcerned with mysteries hidden in the silence of night. But Apollo paused, his golden eyes thoughtful, for he too had seen strange signs in the firmament. Hera raised her brow, her voice cool, questioning Athena's certainty, demanding proof beyond whispers and visions. Zeus sat silent, thunder in his gaze, weighing the words of his daughter with neither denial nor assent. The hall filled with murmurs, voices clashing, pride clashing against curiosity, certainty wrestling with doubt unspoken. Athena stood firm, her presence unshaken, her wisdom a shield against the storm of ridicule and doubt. She told them the light was no threat, but a guide, a promise waiting to be uncovered. It was not for gods alone, nor for mortals alone, but for all who sought truth without fear. Some laughed louder, unwilling to share glory with fragile beings who walked the earth below the clouds. Yet Athena's gaze did not waver, for she saw not scorn, but fear beneath their mocking tones. Fear that wisdom unchained might rise beyond thrones. Fear that hope might spread beyond the walls of Olympus. In the silence that followed, her words lingered like embers, quiet yet impossible to extinguish. Zeus at last spoke, his voice deep as mountains, granting her leave to pursue this strange vision. He did not command others to follow, nor did he forbid, leaving the choice in her hands. Athena bowed her head, not in defeat, but in honor, for his silence was permission enough. The council returned to laughter, to wine and feasts. But Athena's heart carried the weight of destiny. She stepped from the hall, her path her own, her spirit unbroken, her purpose burning like dawn. Behind her, the voices of gods faded, but before her stretched the call of the light eternal. Athena left Olympus with the dawn, her steps quiet yet firm, carrying resolve deeper than any armor of bronze. She chose no chariot of fire, no thunderous procession, only the silent path that led down to the mortal world. The air grew softer as she descended, scented with earth, salt, and the faint sweetness of blooming fields. Mountains rose like guardians, their peaks veiled in mist, watching her passage as though they knew her purpose. Villages below stirred with morning light, smoke curling gently from hearths, voices carrying in songs of labor. Athena walked among them, unseen at first, her cloak of divinity wrapped tight around her shining form. She listened, not as goddess to worshippers, but as wanderer to wanderer, learning through silence and presence. A farmer bent to the soil, his hands cracked yet steady, planting seeds with hope for unseen harvests. Children laughed by a river, skipping stones, their joy as radiant as stars, untouched by the weight of time. An elder sat weaving tales to younger ears, his voice soft, yet each word carrying wisdom preserved by memory. Athena smiled gently, seeing in their struggles and joys the reflection of a light she already sought. The light eternal, she thought, may not blaze in temples or thrones, but glow quietly in mortal hearts. Still, whispers of the strange star reached her ears, spoken with awe, fear, and wonder in equal measure. Some said it was a blessing, a promise of hope, while others feared it as omen of change. Athena lingered, walking through forests where shadows stretched long. Yet the birds sang songs of renewal. Streams glimmered with sunlight, and every leaf seemed alive with whispers that only she could truly hear. In the stillness, she sensed the pull again, faint but certain, guiding her steps beyond familiar roads. She followed paths worn by countless feet, roads carrying traders, pilgrims, and wanderers searching for meaning. Each face she saw reminded her that wisdom is not born in solitude, but shaped in shared journey. Athena paused by a stone altar, offerings laid by humble hands, fruit, grain, and a simple carved lamp. She touched it lightly, blessing not the object, but the intention, the faith, the yearning behind the gift. The sky deepened into twilight, the first stars shimmering, and with it came the whisper once more. It was clearer now, a call not of sound, but of presence, drawing her across seas and mountains. She knew her path would be long, yet she did not falter, for every step revealed greater meaning. Athena raised her eyes to the horizon, where land met sky, where the light seemed to beckon. She felt no need for armies, no need for glory, only the quiet strength of purpose within. The mortals around her would never know that a goddess walked among them, seeking truth on their behalf. But the earth knew, the stars knew, and the whispers of eternity wrapped around her in gentle embrace. Thus, her journey began in earnest, not as conquest, but as pilgrimage, guided by the call of light. Athena's path led her across valleys and rivers until she came upon a place forgotten by time itself. It was a sanctuary hidden deep within cliffs, its entrance veiled by vines, its silence older than empires. Few mortals had ever found it, and fewer still could read the runes etched upon its weathered stones. Athena pressed her hand against the gate, and it opened not with force, but with the weight of wisdom. Inside lay a hall carved from rock, vast and quiet, lit by shafts of sunlight filtering through cracks above. Shelves of stone rose high, filled not with gold, but with scrolls wrapped in dust, fragile yet eternal. This was the library of forgotten echoes, where the voices of long-lost ages whispered from brittle parchment. Athena stepped softly, her eyes tracing the marks, the ancient scripts etched with care by unseen hands. She unrolled one scroll, its ink faded but its meaning bright, telling of kingdoms that once flourished in song. Another spoke of travelers who followed the stars, seeking truths that even the gods had yet to name. Each scroll was a voice, echoing across centuries, carrying lessons, mistakes, dreams, and unbroken fragments of hope. The air shimmered as she read, as though the very stones remembered the footsteps of those who came before. She felt their presence, not as shadows of the dead, but as sparks of wisdom, alive and waiting. The light eternal, she thought, might not be fire in the sky, but knowledge carried through endless generations. For knowledge was a flame no darkness could swallow, a thread weaving mortals and gods into the same fabric. She lingered by a great table carved with constellations, maps etched into stone like rivers of memory. There she saw drawings of the strange star, recorded by forgotten astronomers who once gazed in wonder. Their words spoke of a beacon that guided, not by command, but by awakening what already lived within. Athena closed her eyes, listening beyond the silence, hearing faint voices echoing in rhythm with her heartbeat. They did not cry for worship, nor plead for rescue, but offered counsel. Seek not to possess, but to share. She felt humbled, reminded that wisdom is never owned, only carried, only passed from one to another. As she moved deeper, she found a pedestal with a mirror framed in silver, untouched by dust or decay. The mirror did not reflect her form, but shimmered with images of mortals searching, yearning, creating. She saw their fires, their songs, their prayers, each a spark of the same eternal light she sought. Her hand reached toward it, and for a moment, the whispers grew louder, a chorus of forgotten voices. Athena bowed her head, not in sorrow, but in reverence, honoring the countless lives preserved in this place. The library had no walls of marble, no crowns of gold, yet it shone brighter than any palace. When she stepped back into daylight, the world seemed changed, filled with echoes she now carried within. The journey was far from over, but Athena knew the light eternal was not distant. It was already here. Athena left the library behind, but its whispers followed her, guiding her steps to a quiet, hidden temple. The temple stood alone on a hill, its stones worn smooth by wind, its doors silent as a dream. Inside, the air was still, filled not with incense or flame, but with a strange and living presence. At the center stood a mirror, tall and silver, its frame unbroken by age, its surface shimmering with light. Athena approached slowly, her footsteps soft, her heart steady, though the mirror seemed to watch her in return. Unlike mortal glass, it did not show her form, but shadows and glimmers of something far more profound. At first, she saw her victories: cities protected, wisdom given, temples raised in her honor by grateful hands. The images shone bright, a reminder of all she had built, of the knowledge she had nurtured. Yet, as the light shifted, the mirror deepened, showing what lay beyond triumph, beyond the masks of glory. She saw her doubts, moments hidden even from herself, when silence weighed heavy and certainty felt fragile. She saw times she had questioned her path, times she wondered if wisdom alone could change the world. Her reflection showed not weakness, but humanity within divinity, the quiet truth no armor could disguise. Athena stood still, accepting what she saw, letting the mirror reveal not what she wished, but what was. The voice of the mirror was silent, yet its lesson clear. Light begins where truth is not denied. Athena touched the glass, and it rippled like water, reflecting not one figure but countless shifting forms. Faces of mortals appeared, unknown and familiar, each carrying sparks of courage, love, and endless seeking. Children, poets, farmers, wanderers, all danced in the mirror's glow, their lives fragile, yet their light unyielding. Athena realized the mirror was not only for her, but a window into the heart of humankind. The light eternal was not found in perfection, but in the embrace of flaws, growth, and shared hope. She felt a warmth spread through her, not from the mirror, but from the clarity it awakened. Every fear she had carried turned into understanding. Every doubt became a thread woven into wisdom. She whispered softly, "Strength is not in denying shadow, but in walking with it toward the dawn." The mirror quieted, its glow dimming, leaving her reflection alone. Yet her gaze now carried greater depth. She stepped back, bowing her head in gratitude, for the temple had given her not answers, but truth. The journey stretched ahead, filled with mystery. Yet Athena felt lighter, clearer, and more steadfast than before. Outside, the night sky shimmered, stars alive with whispers, and the strange light flickered once more above. It pulsed brighter than before, as though answering her, as though the heavens had heard her silent vow. Athena walked on, carrying within her both shadow and light, both question and answer as one. And in her heart, the eternal flame burned brighter, guiding her toward the next step of her quest. Athena's path carried her into the mountains, where peaks rose like guardians carved from the bones of the earth. The air grew thin, crisp, and sharp, and every breath felt like a vow spoken to the sky itself. Snow dusted the ridges, but sunlight streamed in golden lines, painting the stones with a quiet glow. She moved carefully, her sandals brushing over paths worn by centuries of pilgrims who once sought truth here. Legends whispered that the mountains kept secrets older than temples, older even than the gods themselves. Athena climbed higher, her gaze steady, her mind filled with echoes of voices carried from the library. Each step felt both heavy and light, as though the earth tested her resolve and the heavens lifted her spirit. At last, she reached a plateau where the wind circled, carrying tones like fragments of forgotten hymns. There stood a ring of stones, weathered and silent, yet humming faintly as if alive with hidden music. Athena entered the circle, and the ground beneath her shimmered, glowing with patterns like woven constellations. The air trembled, and she realized this was a place where mortal and divine once touched in unity. Closing her eyes, she listened, not with ears, but with her spirit, to the mountain's quiet heartbeat. It pulsed steady, deep, carrying the memory of rivers born, forests grown, and civilizations risen and gone. The stones began to glow brighter, their light soft, their hum rising into chords that resonated in her chest. Athena felt herself dissolve into the sound, her form blending with the rhythm of sky and stone. Visions filled her mind, not battles or crowns, but rivers flowing, seeds sprouting, children laughing in distant fields. She saw the fragile, yet unyielding thread of life, weaving itself across ages, never broken, always renewed. The light eternal, she thought, was not a single flame, but countless sparks carried in every breath of life. Her eyes opened, and the circle blazed. Stars mirrored on earth, as though the heavens bowed to the mountain. She knelt, touched the earth, and whispered, "The eternal light dwells not above us, but within and around us." The wind answered, wrapping her in warmth, though no fire burned, only the embrace of living memory. As the glow dimmed, the stones remained silent, their gift given not as power, but as understanding. Athena rose, her heart steady, her steps lighter, as though the mountain itself had lent her its strength. She looked to the horizon and saw the strange light flicker again, brighter, more insistent than before. It called not with urgency, but with invitation, a reminder that her journey was only just unfolding. She descended slowly, carrying the mountain's wisdom as carefully as a flame sheltered against storm. And as she walked, she knew the path was not only hers, but belonged to all who sought the light. The mountains faded behind her, but their song lingered, an eternal echo guiding her deeper into the quest. Athena's steps carried her into a vast desert, where dunes rolled like waves, frozen beneath a burning sky. The sun blazed high, but she walked with calm, her shadow stretching long, her resolve stronger than the heat. Wind howled across the sands, shaping ridges and valleys, whispering secrets in tongues older than any temple. Each grain shimmered like gold. Yet the desert was no treasure, but a mirror of silence and endurance. Athena followed the stars by night, their cool brilliance guiding her path across the endless shifting sea of sand. During the day, she rested in the shade of rocks, listening to the hum of the earth beneath. The desert spoke without words, teaching patience, teaching humility, teaching her to move with the rhythm of time. One night, the horizon glowed faintly, not with fire, but with a soft pulse like breath beneath the sky. She walked toward it, her heart steady, knowing the desert revealed only to those who sought without demand. At dawn, she reached an oasis, small yet radiant, a pool reflecting the heavens in its still surface. Palm trees swayed gently, their leaves shimmering, their roots reaching deep into hidden streams beneath the earth. Athena knelt by the water, cupping it in her hands, feeling its coolness seep into her spirit. As she gazed, the water stirred, not from wind, but from light, forming ripples that glowed like silver. In those ripples, she saw visions. Caravans crossing the sands, voices singing, fires burning through the cold night. She saw wanderers who carried stories instead of weapons, who traded not riches, but wisdom across the dunes. Their journeys left no monuments, no statues, but their words lived, passed like water from hand to hand. The oasis whispered, "What endures is not possession, but the flow of what is shared and remembered." Athena touched the water again, and the visions deepened, showing her the threads connecting each wandering soul. No one was alone, though the desert seemed vast, for every step joined the story of countless others. She smiled softly, realizing the light eternal shone brightest when carried together, like stars in constellation. Her reflection glimmered, not solitary, but surrounded by faces, mortal and divine, all luminous with hope. Athena bowed her head, offering thanks, not for power, but for the reminder of unity in the journey. The water stilled, returning to silence, its gift given in ripples that still lingered in her heart. She rose, leaving the oasis behind, her spirit refreshed, her resolve like cool water against the desert's fire. The dunes stretched endless, but she walked with lightness, each step echoing with the voices she had seen. Above her, the strange star flared brighter, not distant now, but close, as if watching with gentle intent. The desert's silence no longer felt empty, but alive, filled with the memory of those who had walked before. Athena carried that memory forward, knowing that even in the harshest places, the light eternal still shone. And as dawn broke once more, she continued her path, guided by the flame that burned within and beyond. Athena's journey carried her from the desert into a forest where trees rose tall as towers of living green. The air grew cool beneath their canopy, filled with the scent of moss, earth, and blossoms opening in silence. Birdsong echoed through the branches, each note like a secret thread woven into the forest's endless tapestry. She walked slowly, listening, her every step softened by leaves, her spirit calmed by the rhythm of life. Here the world felt alive, breathing with her, its pulse steady, its wisdom written in roots and branches. She came to a clearing where light streamed through, golden shafts falling like rivers upon the forest floor. In the center grew a tree older than memory, its trunk wide, its branches spreading like arms of sky. Its bark was scarred yet strong, its roots deep, binding soil and stone, anchoring life across countless generations. Athena approached with reverence, sensing in it not just age, but a spirit vast, steady, and eternal. The tree seemed to hum softly, its leaves shimmering with a glow, not of sunlight, but of inner fire. She placed her hand against its bark, rough yet warm, and felt stories rise like whispers through her skin. She saw children once playing beneath its shade, lovers carving promises, elders resting in its embrace of silence. Each memory was a seed, growing, branching, weaving into the tree's life, until it stood as living memory. Athena understood. The light eternal was not just stars or flame, but the quiet persistence of growth and care. She closed her eyes, and the tree revealed more. Visions of forests reborn after storms, of rivers returning after drought. It showed her how destruction was never final, how life always sought to heal, to rise again. Athena breathed deeply, letting this truth root within her. Steady as soil, unyielding as the oldest oak. The forest whispered, "Strength is not in force, but in patience. Endurance is the flame that outlasts all shadow." She bowed her head, honoring the lesson, knowing her path was not about speed, but about steady resilience. As she opened her eyes, the strange star flickered through the branches above, brighter than before, closer still. The forest seemed to bow with her, its leaves rustling like applause, its roots humming with shared wisdom. Athena smiled gently, for she felt not alone, but held within a vast family of earth and sky. She stepped back from the great tree, carrying its strength, carrying the patience of centuries in her heart. The path ahead wound through glades and streams, each step lighter, each breath filled with green and golden calm. Birds soared above, their wings flashing like sparks, each a reminder that the light eternal danced in all forms. Athena walked on, her resolve steady, her spirit woven with forest song, her eyes set on the growing light. And as the trees thinned, she knew this wisdom would walk with her, rooted in her soul forever. Athena left the forest behind, stepping into rolling meadows where grasses bent like waves beneath the gentle wind. The sky stretched wide and endless, painted in blues and golds, clouds drifting slow as if in quiet thought. Birds wheeled high above, their wings flashing like sparks, their cries echoing across the open, boundless plain. The meadow seemed simple, yet its silence held a rhythm, a heartbeat soft but steady beneath the earth. Athena walked slowly, her eyes tracing the horizon, where the strange star glimmered brighter with every passing hour. Its glow was steady now, a beacon not of fire, but of presence, waiting for her to draw near. She paused among the tall grasses, listening, and heard whispers like voices, carried in the breath of wind. They spoke of journeys unending, of paths walked by countless feet, of lessons carried from one soul to another. The meadow was not empty. It was filled with echoes of those who had walked this way before her. Athena closed her eyes, and the voices grew stronger, weaving into a song that wrapped gently around her. It was not a song of triumph nor of sorrow, but of continuity, of steps that never truly ended. She realized that the light eternal was not a prize awaiting her alone, but a legacy passed endlessly forward. Each step she took was part of a larger journey, shared across time, unbroken by distance or silence. In the grasses, she saw fleeting visions, hands reaching for one another, strangers offering guidance, friends sharing burdens. She saw kindness offered when no reward was expected, courage shown when fear was greatest, love enduring through loss. These were the true lights of the world, quiet yet unyielding, glowing brighter than any flame in the sky. Athena felt her chest warm, not from the star above, but from the countless sparks alive within humanity. She whispered, "The eternal flame is not mine to hold. It belongs to all who walk, who live, who give." The meadows stirred, grasses swaying, their movement like like applause, their whispers soft but full of ancient reverence. The strange star pulsed in answer, brighter still, as though the heavens acknowledged the truth she had spoken. Athena lifted her gaze, her heart clear, her doubts stilled, her path illuminated not by force, but by faith. The meadow stretched endless, yet she no longer felt small, for she carried the voices of many within her. Each breath of wind, each rustle of leaf, each spark of light reminded her of the eternal connection. She stepped forward, steady and sure, knowing that her quest was no longer hers alone, but shared. The horizon glowed softly, inviting her onward, its light neither commanding nor demanding, but welcoming and true. Athena walked with calm strength, every step echoing the wisdom of mountains, forests, deserts, and stars alike. And as dusk fell over the meadow, she felt nearer than ever to the heart of the light eternal. Athena continued across the meadow until the land began to rise, forming gentle hills crowned with silver light. The air grew cooler, filled with the scent of night flowers blooming, their petals shining like stars upon the ground. She climbed slowly, her steps unhurried, her heart steady, guided by the glow that had led her all this way. The strange star above pulsed brighter, not distant anymore, but close, as if lowering itself to meet her gaze. Each step she took was mirrored by a deeper calm within, a sense of arriving home after a long journey. At the crest of the hill, she paused, her eyes wide, for the light above began to transform before her. It was no longer a single star, but many, weaving together like threads, forming a vast tapestry in the sky. Colors shimmered, gold, silver, blue, and green, moving like a living river, flowing endlessly through the heavens. Athena gasped softly, for she realized this was the true light eternal, not one flame, but countless, bound together. It was the light of every act of kindness, every breath of hope, every dream shared from one heart to another. She felt herself become part of it, her own spark rising to join the endless current that stretched across time. Voices echoed, not of strangers, but of friends, mentors, wanderers, and seekers who had walked the path before her. They did not speak with words, but with warmth, with presence, with the unbroken promise that none were ever alone. Athena knelt in the grass, her hands resting gently on the earth, her spirit lifted by the chorus of light. She whispered a vow, not to keep the flame, but to carry it forward, to share it wherever her path led. The light eternal shimmered brighter, as if acknowledging her choice, wrapping her in radiance that filled her soul. It did not claim her, nor consume her, but embraced her, making her both small and vast at once. She stood again, strong, certain, ready to walk, not as a seeker lost, but as a bearer of light. The hilltop glowed around her, every blade of grass lit like crystal, every stone humming with quiet reverence. The night was deep now, yet it felt bright, for she carried within her the flame that could never die. Athena turned, looking back across the paths she had crossed, the mountains, forests, deserts, and meadows still in her memory. Each place, each lesson, each whisper had been part of this moment, shaping her for the truth she now held. She knew her journey was not finished, for the light eternal was not an ending, but a beginning. And so, with calm resolve, she descended the hill, the radiance still shining in her eyes, her steps steady. The horizon opened before her once more, endless, yet filled with promise, as though the world itself walked beside her. Athena smiled, her voice soft, yet clear. The light lives in all of us, and together it shines without end. And as she walked into the night, the heavens above shimmered, countless flames burning bright eternal, and unbroken. The journey of Athena had carried her through mountains, deserts, forests, and meadows, until she touched the light eternal. Now she stood at the edge of the horizon, where night and dawn embraced, a meeting place of endings and beginnings. The air was calm, the sky painted with stars above, and soft amber light blooming slowly in the east. She breathed deeply, feeling the weight of her steps fall away, replaced by a serenity that stretched far within. Every lesson, every vision, every whisper of truth now wove together, like threads forming a single shining tapestry. She understood that the light eternal was not a destination, but a mirror showing the fire within all beings. It was the kindness passed from stranger to stranger, the courage to endure, the quiet love binding lives unseen. Athena closed her eyes and felt it moving through her, not as possession, but as belonging, infinite and whole. The flame within her heart pulsed in rhythm with the stars, with the earth, with every breath of the cosmos. She smiled, not for triumph, but for peace, knowing she was one spark among countless, each shining without end. Behind her stretched the roads she had walked, not erased, but glowing softly as part of her unbroken journey. Ahead lay paths unseen, vast and endless. Yet she felt no fear, for the light would always walk beside her. Her voice rose softly, carried on the wind. May all who seek find the flame, and may it guide them home. The wind seemed to answer, brushing her face like a gentle hand, carrying her words into the farthest skies. Athena turned her gaze upward, watching the heavens shimmer, each star a reminder of lives joined in eternal light. The horizon brightened, the first rays of dawn breaking through, gold spilling across the land, promising renewal. She descended gently from the hill, her steps steady, the glow within her heart guiding her into the day. The world before her was alive with promise, waiting for the light she carried to be shared and sown. She knew her tale was but one in an endless chain, each voice adding to the song of eternity. The light eternal would never fade, for it lived in every act of kindness, every dream, every soul that believed. And so Athena walked onward, her spirit at peace, her heart alight, her journey transformed into a gift unending. Her story whispered into the winds, into the rivers, into the skies, a reminder that no flame burns alone. The light eternal shone brighter than ever, not above or beyond, but within, infinite, steady, and forever near. And with that truth held close, Athena disappeared into the morning, carrying eternity within her quiet, unwavering steps.